Friday throughout the great state of Wisconsin. We are rolling along with you from here at 12:30 until 2:30 on this afternoon, bringing you the news as we find it from, of course, here in Milwaukee, where we're located around the state of Wisconsin, this being the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then regionally as well. We want to get out to something that just started in Minnesota. So let me pull that up for you here. There we go. This is a law enforcement memorial event that just started in Minneapolis not too long ago. So there's been a series of ways to honor different members of law enforcement up there. Of course, you see the flag folded up, as is the case after the death of a law enforcement or military member. Let's listen in ahead of Memorial Day weekend to what's happening in Minneapolis right now.
We will call now the honor guard, who are going to read the names and toll the bell for each fallen officer. The names of those who made the ultimate sacrifice while serving as law enforcement officers in Hennepin County will be publicly recognized, each accompanied by the tolling of a bell. We ask that the family members who are in attendance today, or those representing them, to please stand when your loved one's name is read, and remain standing to receive a special presentation from the member of an honor guard.
Robert Laughlin, end of watch, July 28, 1884, Minneapolis Police Department. Charles Channels, end of watch, May 27, 1906, Minneapolis Police Department. Joseph Ollinger, end of watch, July 15, 1911, Minneapolis Police Department. William Lydon, end of watch, November 25, 1913, Minneapolis Police Department. George B. Anderson, end of watch, November 28, 1913, Minneapolis Police Department. C.G. Osby, end of watch, May 19, 1915, Minneapolis Police Department. Nels Anderson, end of watch, May 31, 1916, Minneapolis Police Department. James L. Gardner, end of watch, November 1, 1916, Osseo Police Department. George Connery, end of watch, April 24, 1917, Minneapolis Police Department. James Ware, end of watch, February 17, 1919, Minneapolis Police Department. George Wasner, end of watch, June 24, 1919, Minneapolis Police Department. John F. Young, end of watch, July 13, 1919, Minneapolis Police Department. Frank Hallett, end of watch, August 25, 1920, Minneapolis Police Department. John Foley, end of watch, October 26, 1921, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Emil Engstrom, end of watch, August 14, 1923, Minneapolis Police Department. Murdoch Murray, end of watch, October 21, 1925, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Mike Lawrence, end of watch, December 30th, 1925, Minneapolis Police Department. Wesley Allen Frazier, end of watch, January 2nd, 1928, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Albert Anderson, end of watch, February 1st, 1928, Minneapolis Police Department. Clayton Sewell, end of watch, May 4th, 1929, Minneapolis Police Department. Harry Parker, end of watch, December 24th, 1930, Minneapolis Police Department. Harry McGraw, end of watch, February 1st, 1930, Minneapolis Police Department. Clayton Olson, end of watch, August 9th, 1931, Minneapolis Police Department. Harold Hagan, end of watch, August 3rd, 1932, Minneapolis Police Department. James Harney, end of watch, September 23rd, 1932, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Ira Evans, end of watch, December 16th, 1932, Minneapolis Police Department. Leon Gorski, end of watch, December 18th, 1932, Minneapolis Police Department. John Thomas, end of watch, August 5th, 1933, Minneapolis Police Department. William S. Kozlak, end of watch, April 25th, 1934, Minnesota State Patrol. C. Arthur Lyman, end of watch, May 22nd, 1934, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. Peter Erath, end of watch, May 26, 1934, Minneapolis Police Department. Ben J. Lehman, end of watch, May 3rd, 1936, Minneapolis Police Department. Georgiana Sherritt, end of watch, June 14th, 1937, Minneapolis Police Department. James Trepanier, end of watch, September 20th, 1938, Minneapolis Police Department. John Garrity, end of watch, July 10th, 1939, Minneapolis Police Department. Adolf Karpinski, end of watch, May 22nd, 1941, Minneapolis Police Department. Harold Olson, end of watch, August 9th, 1941, Minneapolis Police Department.
John O'Neill, end of watch, July 7th, 1944, Minneapolis Police Department. Fred Babcock, end of watch, June 4th, 1949, Richfield Police Department. Donald McHale, end of watch, March 25th, 1951, Minneapolis Police Department. Robert Fossum, end of watch, August 17th, 1957, Minneapolis Police Department. Leo Bassner, end of watch, May 12th, 1958, Minneapolis Police Department. William Heckerl, end of watch, May 11th, 1959, Minneapolis Police Department. Andrew Sharp, end of watch, August 17th, 1963, Minneapolis Police Department. James Hendricks, end of watch, December 15th, 1963, Minneapolis Police Department. Lloyd Reed, end of watch, August 6th, 1965, Minneapolis Police Department. Richard Bergquist, end of watch, April 7th, 1969, Minneapolis Police Department. Rodney Norberg, end of watch, August 13th, 1971, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. Joseph Pidlick, end of watch, February 4th, 1972, Minneapolis Police Department. Eno Sudik, end of watch, September 30th, 1972, Minneapolis Police Department. George Partridge, end of watch, May 26, 1976, Minneapolis Police Department. Mark Kirkland, end of watch, August 25th, 1977, Federal Bureau of Investigations. Trenwith Bassford, end of watch, August 25th, 1977, Federal Bureau of Investigations. Richard P. Miller, end of watch, August 25th, 1981, Minneapolis Police Department. James W. Anderson, end of watch, August 31st, 1982, Wayzata Police Department. John Scanlon, end of watch, February 14th, 1985, Robbinsdale Police Department. David Mack, end of watch, November 2nd, 1986, Minneapolis Police Department. William Goodsell, end of watch, November 19th, 1986, Minneapolis Park Police. Jerome Hoff, end of watch, September 25th, 1992, Minneapolis Police Department. Paul Moen, end of watch, July 1st, 1995, Minneapolis Police Department. Ward Canfield, end of watch, March 2nd, 2000, Minneapolis Police Department. Melissa Schmidt, end of watch, August 1st, 2002, Minneapolis Police Department. Mark Bedard, end of watch, November 9th, 2007, Minneapolis Police Department. Minneapolis Park Police. David Loffer, end of watch, May 29th, 2009, Minneapolis Police Department. Michael Pulitz, end of watch, November 30th, 2011, St. Louis Park Police Department. William Matthews, end of watch, September 8th, 2017, Wayzata Police Department. Jamal Mitchell, end of watch, May 30th, 2024, Minneapolis Police Department.
Please rise for the final tolling of the bells and the playing of taps.
A powerful reminder ahead of the holiday weekend that freedom is never free, as we see the ceremony there, the Law Enforcement Memorial Ceremony in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Our neighbors to the north and west there honoring the many different members of law enforcement who have passed away over the last century or more there while on the line of duty. And as we transfer out of one ceremony, we will prepare for another powerful visual now in place on Milwaukee's lakefront when it comes to Memorial Day. And again, a reminder of why so many people have a long holiday weekend. It is, of course, kind of looked at as an unofficial start of summer to some, but for many others, it is a reminder of those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our nation's freedom. And for that, we want to get you out to our Abril Preciado, who is joining us live, as I mentioned, along the Milwaukee lakefront. The field of flags laid out behind you there, Abril. I've seen it before. Incredibly powerful that they do this outside of the Milwaukee War Memorial each and every year around Memorial Day weekend. For people who are not familiar, first and foremost, describe what we're seeing with you out there, the field of flags, and what it's meant to represent here in Wisconsin.
That's right, Carl. I mean, you said it best. It is a very powerful sight that we're seeing out here, and most certainly a very powerful moment that we got to experience during the event during the ceremony that took place this morning. Right now, I mean, just take a look. All of these flags represent a Wisconsinite that gave the ultimate sacrifice, and they're here right now. They're pretty much all of the flags. There's over 27,000 of them right here in place where they're honored during the ceremony. We just really got to see several people really come out here, take the moment to really remember loved ones, remember those as well that gave the ultimate sacrifice to provide us with our freedom that we have here. And let me just tell you guys, it is quite a view right now. It is a beautiful day to also come on out and really just admire them. It is quite impactful as well. And during the last hour that we have been out here, we have seen a handful of people just come on out. Families, children, just people walking around and really taking the moment to also look at them. We were told that there was a delay for them to be placed because of the rain that we had the last couple of days. But luckily, with the help of volunteers and also just the community, they were able to be put in place on time for this ceremony that took place this morning. Once again, this will still be here for people that are in the area or that will be visiting. This will be in place out here throughout the weekend. Obviously today I would say it is a great day to just really come out here and really take a look at them. I know last year I also got to cover it, and unfortunately we had rain and we weren't able to really experience and really take in this view that we're seeing right now. But today we are getting that vision, and we are getting this moment as well. I guess I'll maybe give a quick second to maybe have us glance around and maybe just really embrace and admire what we're seeing right here. It's quite powerful just to see.
It almost gives you chills, Abril, just seeing that visual representation of the sacrifice given by those tens of thousands of Wisconsinites for the freedoms and values that those flags represent. The number that you mentioned there, 27,316 flags. They represent all of Wisconsin's killed in action, dating back to the Civil War through the present and the more recent conflicts that America has fought overseas and at home, going back to the Civil War. I imagine an army of volunteers as well. And, it's always this interesting juxtaposition. You get into Memorial Day weekend, a lot of people are thinking, the end of the school year, the beginning of summer, a 3-day weekend, people off work Monday. But this is why, and it is a day to recognize and honor those many members of the U.S. military who have died in service to this country. And hopefully, if people are down by the lakefront for the Kite Festival, for a run like that gentleman going by, this installation each year will kind of give them a pause and a chance to reflect a little bit on how we are able to enjoy these beautiful days along our Great Lake here. What was the ceremony like this morning? Who all did you hear from, and what was that like to kind of take in?
Well, we saw several veterans that came out here and also took the moment to really remember their loved ones as well. Remember the members that they were with, family, and we also heard from several people that actually shared their family story. We had a woman that came up here and took the moment to honor her uncle that was actually lost his life while in the line of duty as well. And she shared some powerful words. He was only 19 years old. And she says that being out here and the fact that her uncle was honored today was a sense of her family gaining that closure that they have felt throughout many years. I believe she said that she was, I think she was born 4 years after he passed away. So she grew up hearing about him, seeing his picture, and the fact that today she was able to honor him served a lot. It actually gave me so much chills, and I could tell everyone that was here present as well also felt that same way. It kind of brought tears to your eyes and a lot of emotion. She also told me actually that she was out here yesterday also helping out with the flag installment. She was helping out, and she said that like as she was doing that, she was just really thinking about her uncle and what he did, and just giving the ultimate sacrifice, because as you mentioned, many of us say it's a long weekend, but this is the real reason why we have it, to really, give thanks and remember those that have fought for our freedom, and in turn, give the ultimate sacrifice. But once again, it's so beautiful out here just to see it. As you mentioned, it is quite chilling to see it, but at the same time, it gives you like a sense of gratitude, and I feel like the fact that we do have a beautiful day, it's like what better way to shed light on them.
Yeah, well said there. I'd be curious from the people that you heard from, Abril, and if you're not sure, I apologize, but which of the conflicts seem to be the most represented? I think about the fact that, so many people even who survived serving in World War II are now well into their 80s, 90s at this point, and for the most part, a dying generation. Does it represent more of perhaps Korean or Vietnam War veterans, or kind of the wars of the 20th century when you get into the Iraq and Afghanistan wars? Who did you hear from in terms of the families of those service members?
It was mainly World War II, I would say.
And descendants and family members, I imagine, of people who served in World War II?
Yes, I would say so, yes. More so of that group of people and family members that we saw out here today.
Interesting, yeah. Well, we'll let you get back to it. I'm really looking forward to your reporting later today on Fox Local. You can check it out on our website as well, fox6now.com, but you'll get to hear some of those stories and some of those impactful remembrances from Abril, speaking with those family members there. But it's such a stark image on such a beautiful day, Abril, blue skies, sunshine, all the rest, and then that reminder just seemingly going on and on and on, row after row of those flags there. Thank you for sharing that with us today.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Carl.
And as we let Abril get back to it there, again, if you want to check it out, obviously this is up right now, the Field of Flags at Veterans Park, right next to the War Memorial Center there. You can see a number of people already stopping by today, taking photographs, taking a moment to soak it in on what is a gorgeous day, right? A beautiful day to be out and about on our lakefront, and how lucky we are that we get the chance to do that here in Milwaukee and elsewhere around the United States because of the sacrifice of all of those soldiers, airmen, and Navy personnel represented by each and every one of those flags. It is ahead of Memorial Day weekend here as we rejoin you on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We're going to take a short break here. Much else to get to over the next hour and a half or so. We're here with you until 2:30 today on this Friday before Memorial Day weekend. We'll see what we find after this break on the Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey, Carl Liffmaugh back with you on this Friday afternoon before Memorial Day weekend. We're here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's the Wisconsin Live Desk with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 until 2:30. We're going to hand off to Ben Handelman in about 30 minutes or so when he takes over ahead of this busy weekend of events, certainly here in Milwaukee, as we give you a nice shot of downtown Milwaukee there and the flag flying at half staff ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. Beautiful weather, 53 degrees, maybe on the cool side, but especially after the week we had, at least here in this part of southeastern Wisconsin, nice to see the sunshine, the blue skies, those puffy white clouds instead of just the gray haze and tons of rain that we were getting over much of this week. I want to tell you about one thing we're keeping an eye on here for you on this Friday afternoon, and that would be actually something that just went down. Don't you love when that happens? Unfortunately, the feed that we had for that just disappeared. I was going to say going into this weekend, it says also momentous one, as Sunday will mark 5 years since George Floyd's death when he was killed by Minneapolis police officers. There was a shot that just went down of the memorial that has continued to grow throughout the week leading up until this 5-year anniversary, and some of the coverage planned and coming this weekend as it pertains to what changed after Floyd's death. We certainly saw protests here in Milwaukee, throughout much of the Midwest and the country for that matter, in response to that video that went viral and kind of let everyone unfortunately see those final moments of that man's life at the hands of Minneapolis police officers there, including one who ended up going to jail for it, others charged as well. And there will be a series of things planned throughout the weekend, certainly in Minneapolis, but elsewhere as there as well, marking 5 years since George Floyd's death. If that memorial feed does pop up once again, I'll try to bring it for you here, but it just went away, of course, right as I was about to take it there. Much has changed, much has not. There were a series of efforts to change policing, including rule changes here. Milwaukee's Fire and Police Commission underwent some changes to department policy as well after that, in the wake of George Floyd's death and the protests that followed in that summer. We saw members of the Milwaukee Bucks as well marching in support of different efforts to change policing and change the relationships between police officers and community members in the wake of that death. And we'll see, especially in Minneapolis, what's in store for this weekend. Elsewhere, we'll give you a live shot of the White House on this Friday afternoon. You can see it's quite breezy out in the nation's capital, and some of the things happening by the moment here for the White House. President Trump is supposed to be signing a series of executive orders actually right now. That was closed off to the press, so we're unable to share that with you, but instead giving you a shot of the White House on this Friday afternoon. There's been a series of news actually just in that I want to relate to you, including Japan saying it will keep pushing the U.S. to drop tariffs. The Prime Minister of Japan said he had a phone call with President Donald Trump and will continue that communication, trying to lower tariffs on Japanese goods imported to the United States. Japan, a longtime ally and trading partner of the United States, and the Japanese Prime Minister hoping to continue that conversation with the U.S. President. In other news, a federal judge, the continued back and forth between the Trump administration and the judicial branch and many federal judges around the country, a federal judge has blocked the Trump administration's decision that was going to bar foreign student enrollment at Harvard. And that was a question, as I try to get you a feed right now of the president, there you go, inside the White House, about to sign a series of executive actions. You see members of his cabinet there behind him as well. Let me see if we can get some audio for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk with that. Something that just happened. Let's listen into the president. A series of topics I'll relay as well once we're done hearing from the Commander-in-Chief.
Industry, you have to do it right. It's become very safe and environmental, yes, 100%. So I'm going to ask Doug Burgum to talk about it a little bit to start, and maybe you'll follow him up.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to have Pete Hegseth speak from a military standpoint, but this is very all-inclusive. We're signing tremendous executive orders today that really will make us the real power in this industry, which is a big industry. Doug? Why don't you go ahead?
Well, thank you, President Trump. This is a huge day for the nuclear industry. Mark this day on your calendar. This is going to turn the clock back on over 50 years of over-regulation of an industry. American greatness has always come from innovation, and we were very innovative. We led post-World War II in all things nuclear, but then we've been stagnated. We've choked it with over-regulation. Today, Will is going to walk us through a series of 4 executive orders. Each of these help attack separate issues that have held back this industry. And with us today, we've got a number of CEOs from the industry representing some of our largest nuclear providers, but also a big change. This is a time when capital and competition has finally come to this industry. We've got venture capital, we've got startups coming into all aspects with small modular nuclear, and we've also got an EO that's talking about the importance of us having a secure supply chain of being able to get that fuel load here in the United States as opposed from foreign sources. This has impacts on national security, on our defense, and again, President Trump here today has committed to energy dominance. And part of that energy dominance is that we've got enough electricity to win the AI arms race with China. What we do in the next 5 years related to electricity is going to determine the next 50, because this is the first time in history where electricity can be translated into intelligence. And we need that intelligence for every aspect of our economy, but also for defense. Pete Hegseth in the Department of Defense has been a key part of this, and this is going to help us make sure that we're providing the defense we need, where we need that AI, need the electricity, but also to secure our bases here at home and around the world. Secretary?
Sure, I'll just add to that before going to Will. Energy security is national security. If we don't have reliable energy for our basing, for our troops, whether forward deployed or domestically, we're vulnerable. So by having small modular nuclear capabilities, which are rapidly being fielded, that we can use on our bases here and around the world, we're creating an environment where if things happen elsewhere, the military can be relied upon. Also, we're including artificial intelligence into everything we do. If we don't, we're not fast enough. We're not keeping up with adversaries. You need the energy to fuel it. Nuclear is a huge part of that, modular or otherwise. So we're going to have the lights on and AI operating when others do not, faster than everybody else because of nuclear capability. So this is a big game changer for us as well.
And we're also talking about the big plants, the very, very big, the biggest. We're going to be doing them also, but we're going to start off a little bit. I think our focus today is the smaller module, but included in this group, we're also doing big plants where needed. They won't be needed too much, but they'll literally be able to do an entire state. And you've read a lot about cost overruns in a couple of states that were pretty significant, but we're not going to have cost overruns. And the technology's come a long way, both in safety and cost and everything else. Would a couple of you guys like to talk about your companies and you want to say anything?
Joe, why don't you kick it off?
Sure. My name's Joe Dominguez. I run Constellation Energy. We have about 25% of the nation's fleet. We're the largest publicly traded nuclear company in the world. We're in the middle of a merger with Calpine, and once completed, we will be the largest electric producing company in the world. About enough power to produce, to cover all of Mexico, actually.
I didn't know that. When we talked, you were so modest. I can't believe it.
That's normally not said about me, Mr. President.
I'm very impressed. Go ahead. So you think it's got a great future?
Yeah, well, absolutely we do. And the big change here is not only the technology has come around, but we have some of the largest companies in the world, the hyperscalers, who need this energy for AI, who are now working with us to fund the development and construction of the next generation nuclear. Nuclear is a 24/7 resource. These data centers run 24/7. Some of them will cost $200–300 billion, and they want to run them all of the time. So we can't use intermittent resources. We need something that's always on, 24/7, and nothing does that better than nuclear. The problem in the industry has historically been regulatory delay. Mr. President, you know this because you're the best at building big things. Delay in regulations and permitting will absolutely kill you, because if you can't get the plant on, you can't get revenue, and the interest costs are horrible. We're wasting too much time on permitting, and we're answering silly questions, not the important ones. For example, let me give you an example. In 3 places in this country, we're trying to license new reactors at sites that already have reactors. Yet I have to spend $35 billion at each site just for the NRC to do an analysis that says this is a good place for nuclear. Well, guess what? We've been running nuclear in that community for 4 decades. Why are we even asking that question? I'd rather spend that $35 million, 3 times $105 million, perfecting a design, start building the foundation, and getting going. We need to do this for America.
Are we doing something about the regulatory in here?
Oh, yes, sir.
You are, sir. That's going to be a big factor.
Yes, sir. That issue I just described will be addressed in this EO and many other issues that we don't have time with the president to cover today.
But you say it's very, we've contemplated just about everything, right?
Well, this, Mr. President, this Energy Dominance Council that you have created is something I haven't seen in 30 years. It brings together all the pieces of government in one place to expedite the process. Under Secretary Burgum's leadership, this has been an amazing, amazing thing. It used to be the case that I have to run to about 5 different places in Washington to get one answer.
That's great.
And now it's all together in one place. So all I know about Secretary Burgum and Secretary Wright is if we haven't gotten it right, we'll get it right shortly, and there'll be another order for you to sign. But thank you so much for your leadership, sir.
You were going to say something? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say commercial nuclear, a bit of an unsung hero. And I just want to thank you, Mr. President, Secretary Burgum, Secretary Wright, for bringing this attention to commercial nuclear. We have the largest and most safe fleet right here in the United States. And upon that, we have fantastic innovation that's being brought forward. And it's going to come in all shapes and sizes, and it's going to actually be coming through some of these companies that you see represented here. We're going to have great jobs, we're going to have wonderful energy, and we're going to be ready. So thank you, Mr. President, for leaning in.
Appreciate it. Great job you've done, too.
Jake?
How about talking about your company and the job you're going to do?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Well, first of all, a little MIT nuclear connection that goes back, I know, familial for you. So, yeah, we're working on small reactors. I'm Jacob DeWitt, CEO, co-founder at Oklo, working on small next-generation reactors that take technology America invented, developed, and pioneered and bringing it to the market after it sat on the shelves of history for about 40 years. And it's because of the actions that you're doing today that are going to help unleash that. Changing the permitting dynamics is going to help things move faster. We're seeing private investment flow into this space like we've never seen before. We went public about a year ago, and one of the most successful actually go public outcomes for a transaction like that for a small nuclear company, because the market needs this and wants this. And under your leadership, creating the Dominance Council, I mean, it's hard to overstate the value of that. And nuclear is a manifestation of energy dominance. In fact, a golf ball of uranium metal, which this is not, but it's a golf ball, has enough energy content in it to power your entire life's energy needs. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And to get back to building, nuclear uses the fewest materials, right? The least amount of concrete, of steel, of fuel for amount of energy it produces. So it should be the cheapest, the most scalable, the most sustainable. Just like you mentioned, Mr. President, about the importance of doing that right. The physics are on our side, and these things help unleash this innovation to actually realize that. So it's never been more exciting.
Very exciting indeed. Go ahead, please.
And I'm Scott Nolan, CEO of General Matter. We're an American enrichment company trying to bring back the U.S.'s lead in producing nuclear fuel. So just like car engines need fuel, nuclear reactors need fuel. Right now, the U.S. is completely dependent on other countries to make the key step of enrichment in this fuel. And these executive orders are going to pave the way for the U.S. to regain its lead. So we really appreciate it.
Will you be doing the AI plants? Because we have a lot of them going up now, and or soon going up, and they need tremendous electricity. Are you going to be involved in many of those plants?
Yes.
Will a lot of them be using nuclear, or some are using oil and gas, some are using different things? But
many of them will be, I think.
It just makes a lot of sense.
Nuclear is a perfect solution, and that's where most of them are interested.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be, yes.
Okay, Will, please.
Yes, sir. The first executive order we have for you relates to the issue that Secretary Hegseth was speaking to, which is the need for incredible amounts of power at defense installations and also in AI-focused installations. What this executive order will do is speed up the approval and adoption process for specialized nuclear reactors at these sorts of sites. It also involves the Department of Energy making available the necessary fuel stock. It also creates a special envoy position and a strategy around nuclear technology export. The idea being that we can grow American industry on the back of foreign purchasers who are interested in this sort of technology as well.
I'm just thinking, as you're saying that, I just said, what about auto pens? Could I use an auto pen? What did Biden do? Did he have an auto pen at the desk?
Nuclear powered.
No, he didn't do events like that. Yeah, he used nuclear power. You know, he didn't do events like this, I guess. That's all right. Otherwise, you know, you walk into the other side of the room, have an auto pen sign, right? Here it is. It's phase one. Very big phase, very important phase.
Sir, this next executive order is intended to reform the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. You heard a few of the people here speak about the complex regulatory processes that have really held the nuclear industry back. Before 1978, there were 133 reactors built in the United States. Since 1978, only 2 new commercial reactors have come online. That's because of overregulation, and the goal of this executive order is bringing that regulatory process into line with the actual needs of the industry and public safety, with an end goal of quadrupling the amount of nuclear power production in the next 2.5 decades.
It's fantastic. It's exciting, right? There you go.
This next executive order relates to nuclear reactor testing, sir. The degree of overregulation and governmental inaction in this space in particular has had the effect of throttling development of new, highly modernized nuclear reactors that could really revolutionize the field of nuclear power generation. So this executive order, it orders a revised regulatory process to speed this whole process while preserving, obviously, core safety concerns. It also creates a new pilot program with an expectation that we will have 3 new experimental reactors online by July 4th next year.
It's amazing. That's exciting. Okay, come on.
And lastly, sir, we have an executive order on reinvigorating the nuclear industrial base. There are a number of core issues here, including the issue with fuel feedstock that one of the speakers mentioned before. This executive order, among other actions, includes an invocation of the Defense Production Act in order to spur a closer collaboration with private industry to ensure that we have the fuel supplies we need for a modernized nuclear energy sector. In addition to that, it includes crucial provisions relating to the development of a nuclear energy sector workforce and a number of other key building blocks to the overall nuclear industry that we're trying to spur here.
Great, thank you.
We have one more for you here, sir. This doesn't directly relate to nuclear energy, but it's on a similar subject. This executive order is entitled Restoring Gold Standard Science. One of the issues that we've had in recent decades is that government policy has been made on the back of junk science, scientific studies and findings that have included conflicts of interest or scientific misconduct. The purpose of this executive order is to recenter policymaking around gold standard science, scientific efforts that have followed appropriate scientific methods that don't include those sorts of conflicts of interest, and to ensure that when departments and agencies are relying on scientific studies to promulgate rules, to promulgate regulations, that the science that they're relying on is highly reliable and available to the public.
He did a very good job, didn't he? He did. How many people here could have done that? I don't know. I think a lot. Thanks. Good job, Will.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Is that it?
That's all we have for you now, sir.
Do you have any questions for these brilliant people? They are brilliant people, actually.
Mr. President, on nuclear, sir. Mr. President, on nuclear, sir. A lot of the concern over the years that's held the nuclear industry back has been about safety. Are you satisfied with those safety concerns?
Yeah, we are. It's become a very safe. Actually, it's become very safe, and tremendous work's been done on that, more than anything else. And it's really the automatic shutoffs. There's so many different things that they have now that they would have never had. You know, my uncle was a great nuclear person years ago, and that was a different. If you would have asked that question, probably it would have been a much different answer. But They have tremendous shut-off power and other powers that, and it's very redundant, as I understand it, like at a level that nobody's ever seen before. So it's safe. And we're going to do a lot of the small ones, and we're going to do some of the big ones. But yeah, very safe and clean.
And on your
Mr. President, on Apple.
Let's keep it on this for a little while. Let's keep it on the nuclear, and then if you want to ask something else, which you might, we'll do that.
On nuclear, Mr. President.
Yeah, please.
What did you say to folks who are concerned that speeding up licensing or even doing fuel processing raises safety and proliferation?
Yeah, we're going to get it very fast, and we're going to get it very safe, and we're going to get the people in and out, and they're going to do plants. In many cases, they'll do 3 or 4 smaller ones and put them together. That's what France has done. France has done a good job of this for years. And they, as I understand it, they had basically one plan. And if they needed more, they'd do 3 or 4 or 5 of them. I don't know we have to go that far, but, you know, there's something about building one big one. But we'll build the big ones, too. We're going to have, I think I would say we'll be second to none, because we're starting very strong. But it's time for nuclear, and we're going to do it very big. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, what about the European Union? You said that negotiations are going nowhere. Where are the kind of points where they're
slow moving? I've been saying to everybody, they've treated us very badly over the years. It was formed in order to hurt the United States, in order to take advantage of the United States, and they've done that. We have a big deficit with them. They sell millions and millions of cars, as you know, Mercedes and BMW and Volkswagen and many others, and we were restricted from selling cars into the European Union, which is not nice. And I just said it's time that we play the game the way I know how to play the game. You know, they've taken advantage of other people representing this country, and they're not going to do that any longer. Yeah.
Mr. President, you are a deal maker, deal breaker. What are you hoping to achieve with a 50%?
Well, I think this is there is no tariff, because what they'll do is they'll send their companies into the U.S. and build their plant. You know, we have, I guess, over $12 trillion practically committed. You look at other presidents; they haven't had $1 trillion for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years. We have numbers. Nobody's ever seen numbers like we have. And if they build their plant here, then they have no tariff at all.
Are you looking for a deal in 9 days? Will you be able to do that, sir?
I'm not looking for a deal. I mean, we've set the deal. It's at 50%. But again, there is no tariff if they build their plant here. Now, if somebody comes in and wants to build a plant here, I can talk to them about a little bit of a delay. But, you know, while they're building their plant, which is something I think that would be appropriate, maybe, we'll determine that.
Is there anything they can do, sir? Is there anything the EU can do?
I don't know. We're going to see what happens. But right now it's going on June 1st. And that's the way it is. No, they haven't treated us properly. They haven't treated our country properly. They banded together to take advantage of us. And the people behind me know, because they had some of that with their industry. But generally, you know, we signed a great deal with United Kingdom. We have numerous other deals that are ready to be signed. We've signed a deal with China. We have some really amazing deals. But the European Union, I mean, the sole purpose was really not to hurt us, but to take advantage of us, and we're not going to be taking
Mr. President, on Apple, you said this morning that if they don't make their iPhones in the U.S., you're going to hit them with a 25% tariff. Right. Do you have the power to tariff one single company, and why would you want to hurt an American company in that way?
It would be more. It would be also Samsung and anybody that makes that product. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair. So anybody that makes that product, and that'll start on, I guess, the end of June. It'll come out. I think we have that appropriately done by the end of June. So if they make that product. Now, again, when they build their plant here, there's no tariff. So they're going to be building plants here. But I had an understanding with Tim that he wouldn't be doing this. He said he's going to India to build plants. I said, that's okay to go to India, but you're not going to sell into here without tariffs. And that's the way it is. Yeah.
Why would you hurt an American
company? What makes you confident, sir, that Apple can build in the United States at a price that American consumers?
Oh, they can. No, they can. And a lot of it's so computerized now. These plants are amazing if you look at them, but they can do that. And you know, actually, as you know, Apple's coming in with $500 billion. So are the chip companies. We have all of the chip companies coming in, the biggest, $500 billion, $200 billion, $250 billion they're spending. But we're talking about the iPhone now, and you know, the iPhone, if they're going to sell it in America, I want it to be built in the United States. They're able to do that.
When you say that Walmart should eat the cost of the tariffs, is that an acknowledgement that it is U.S. companies that bear the brunt of tariffs, not foreign countries?
Sometimes the country will eat it, sometimes Walmart will eat it, and sometimes there'll be something to pay, something extra. I've always been a fan, and I've always believed, and if you look, take a look at what I did 4 years ago. We had the greatest economy, and we had no inflation. Remember that. We had no inflation, and yet we had hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs that I put on China, yet we had no inflation. We had no big cost differential. Oftentimes, and I don't like it when a department store, because they'll do a lot of business, but you know, they announce record profits and everything else. They have to take out some of their profits. They'll make a little bit less money. But I don't want the consumer. I don't want the consumer to pay.
But why impose tariffs that you know are hurting American businesses?
They're not hurting. They're helping because they're creating jobs in America. We're creating tremendous amounts of jobs in America like you've never seen. We're having investment in America. We're not getting ripped off by every country in the world. We've been ripped off by every country in the world. They're making their product. They sell it. They don't give our people the jobs. They make them with other countries' jobs. And we will have something that nobody will ever see again, I think. I think we have a potential to do numbers that we never envisioned in the wildest year. Look at what's happening. 10 to 12 trillion dollars in literally a couple of months. It's nothing like that's ever happened. It's a very special, we're doing a very special thing. We want, if they're going to sell it here, generally speaking, not for all products. There's some products we don't want to make. And frankly, we're much better off getting them elsewhere. But for certain products, we want cars. We want to make cars. We don't want to have, and I like Canada very much, but we don't want to have Canada making our cars. We want to make our cars. Oh, it's a phone call. Do you mind? Hello? Okay, it's only a congressman. I'd let you know, actually.
Mr. President, are you considering stopping other universities from taking foreign students?
It's a different congressman. They're all congratulating us.
Is that an iPhone, sir?
Yeah, it's lucky it is. Right? Okay, let's go.
Are you considering stopping other universities besides Harvard from accepting foreign
Well, we're
students?
taking a look at a lot of things. And as you know, billions of dollars has been paid to Harvard. How ridiculous is that? Billions. And they have $52 billion as an endowment. They have $52 billion. And this country is paying billions and billions of dollars and then gives student loans, and they have to pay back the loans. So Harvard's going to have to change its ways. And so are some others.
On that note, a lot of CEOs in the United States, big companies, are foreign. What is that going to do?
I'm fine with that. No, I'm fine with that. No, we want to do that. We're actually going to be doing something in the near future that's going to make it possible for people to come into this country and come in and, you know, have a road toward citizenship. And I think it'll be very exciting, but it's too soon to speak.
Why would you not want the best and brightest from around the world to come to Harvard?
I do, but a lot of the people need remedial math. Did you see that? Where the students can't add 2 and 2 and they go to Harvard. They want remedial math, and they're going to teach remedial math at Harvard. No, wait a minute. So why would they get in? How can somebody that can't add or has very basic skills, how do they get into Harvard? Why are they there? And then you see those same people picketing and screaming at the United States and screaming at, you know, they're anti-Semitic or they're something. We don't want troublemakers here. But how do people that can't, when Harvard comes out with a statement that they're going to teach some of their students remedial math, that's basic math, that's not the deal. Okay, and any more?
Are there other countries you're considering shortening the 90-day pause on tariffs for? And then are there specific steps you're looking for the EU to take?
We do. Well, we have a lot of requests, and you know, you don't have the people to handle it. Frankly, everybody wants to make a deal. I'm sure now the European Union wants to make a deal very badly, but they just they don't do it right. They don't go about it right. The other thing they do is they sue our companies all the time. You know, they have suits where they're judges. I don't know if they're appointed by them, but they're definitely Europe-centric, and we're not going to stand for it. They won a $17 billion lawsuit for Apple, and I read that case, and that's not a case that should have been won. They're suing other of our companies. They use this as a weapon, but they use it really to raise funds for what they do. It's almost like a fundraising mechanism. So we add that to the fact that they do the non-monetary tariffs and lots of other trading, you would call them trading barriers. They don't take our cars. They don't take our agriculture. They don't take anything, but we take their cars by the millions. And therefore, they have the jobs, they get the money, and we get closed plants. It's not going to happen that way anymore. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you. Thank you. Please don't. Please don't. Thank you, press. Please keep moving. Please keep moving out the door this way.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that is the President of the United States handling questions on a series of topics there, but first and foremost, signing a series of executive orders as it pertains to nuclear energy. And you heard some of the discussion at the very beginning from the different secretaries there, Secretary Burgum of the Interior and Secretary Hegseth of Defense, discussing the need for nuclear energy in what is becoming the new arms race, and that's an electric arms race with all of the power needed by artificial intelligence and all that has led to now. So the push for more nuclear energy coming to the United States with the need for more power to fuel all of these different artificial intelligence companies and sites powering this latest technology in the arms race, so to speak, against China when it comes to that. All right, we're going to take a bit of a longer break here. Actually, we'll do a short break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, then get you up with a nice shot of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we switch things over to Ben Handelman after this break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey, welcome back. Carl Defenbaugh with you on the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is 1:31, which means we're a minute late. Ben Handelman is like knocking down the door of the studio, ready to get his time on the desk on this Friday afternoon. So we're going to do our handoff here. Ben will be with you until 2:30, as he is on most Mondays through Fridays here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. As we handle our transition, we have to do some logging in, logging off of computers and systems and the like. How about this? A beautiful shot of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the greatest spectacle in racing, just 2 days away. and it's going to be right here on Fox Sports this Sunday. Today was Carb Day, the final practice round, as the drivers all getting ready for Sunday's race. So take a look at the beautiful Indianapolis Motor Speedway outside of Indianapolis there, gearing up for what should be a great race here on Fox 6 this Sunday, and Ben will be with you after that on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Have a great Friday.
All right, everybody, I think I'm all logged in here. Here we go. Ben Handelman from the Wisconsin Live Desk here on your holiday Friday weekend. We're getting things started. New picture here. Attorney General from California just popped up. He's talking about tariffs. Let's listen in. You're on the Live Desk as we switch over into a new hour here on your Friday.
Lawsuit that would be related to the tariffs, but not necessarily to the argument that you've presented so far.
We bring cases when an action has been taken that's unlawful and it hurts the state of California. And we looked at all of the tariffs that were imposed by the Trump administration, and we brought the lawsuit that we brought because we believe that the tariffs imposed under the IEEPA are unlawful. We don't bring lawsuits when all we have is political grievance or ideological or policy difference. We won't, and a court will throw us out immediately. We got to bring the goods. We have to bring facts in the law that show that the law has been broken. So that's what we've done here. And what we've heard inside, I think, could be very important to a court in understanding the impacts of these tariffs as they decide the legality. I think some of what we heard would be very appropriate for an amicus brief, a friend of the court brief, for businesses to say, here are the impacts on us. We just want you to know. As businesses impacted by these tariffs, here's what the impacts are. And so I think that's how the stories that you heard inside that room might emerge and be part of a court case, not necessarily a different case, but as part of the understanding the impacts of these tariffs as the legality of them is considered by a court.
Quickly want to get your
time for one or two more questions.
Quickly wanted to get your reaction from two headlines from the Trump administration today. The president is ordering Apple to move manufacturing to the U.S., which is related to this. And then secondly, it appears the Trump administration is also moving forward with its plans for Alcatraz. Some officials from the Federal Bureau of Prisons were visiting it, plan to return. Is that something that California would fight back against or can?
So the statement about Apple is something that is obviously disappointing from my perspective, but very unsurprising, very predictable. It is exactly what he does. It's almost like he wakes up in the morning and says, hey, I think Apple should build more Apple phones. And so maybe I'll tell their CEO that he should do that. And then maybe tomorrow he wakes up and he says, hey, I was just kidding. I have a different view. Or maybe I'm going to turn my attention to someone else who I want to impose tariffs on. Maybe Hollywood's not making me happy today, and they need to have a tariff on Hollywood, which is a true thing that he said. So it's how he operates. It's how his brain works, unfortunately. And it's exactly what the American people and the American business community do not need. They don't need the chaos. They don't need the confusion. They don't need the uncertainty. They don't need the unpredictability. They don't need the blatant and transparent political aspects of it. Why does he impose a tariff against Hollywood? Because he doesn't think Hollywood supports him, because it has a lot of Democrats that support other candidates. That's not how you make good policy. That's not a thoughtful way to lead the greatest nation on the history of the earth and to be a leader for all Americans. He's targeting some and weaponizing his authority to harm certain groups and certain people in certain industries. So this is yet another example of that, unfortunately. On Alcatraz, I thought it was a joke when I saw it the first time, and who knows? It doesn't seem like serious policy. I honestly thought he saw The Rock, that movie with Sean Connery and Nick Cage, and then said, hey, why don't we open up that prison again, because that's how he thinks. Maybe he's real, maybe it's real, who knows? I think they have, as a lot of the stories that you've shared and people have uncovered, there's massive infrastructure problems for how to have an operational facility there for what he wants to do with it. Again, that's classic Trump, not thought through, half-baked, off-the-cuff statement that just seems to be an unfiltered way his brain works. But okay, he has people coming to look at it. We'll see what they say.
If the Trump administration's plan was, it seems to be, throw everything you can on every subject all at one time, is it not fair for the states to return the favor by saying, for example, that tariffs are not the supreme law of the land, civil rights are, like the right to make a living and things like that, or that it's an illegal tax on services because it's illegal the way he has done it, or that it's a states' rights issues, that those powers not granted to the federal government, the enumerated government, are given to the states. Is it not maybe a better approach to throw the same stuff at the Trump administration as they've thrown at everyone else and see how they react?
It is their strategy. It's been stated. It's not a secret. This idea of flood the zone, chaos and confusion, shock and awe, and their actions have been consistent with that strategy. The volume of executive orders and other department and agency actions has been much greater than in Trump 1.0. So it's a strategy that they've telegraphed. It's a strategy that they're following. I will say, as someone who's been looking at every action that they take to assess its legality, the quality of their action is poor in terms of its adherence with the law. We've sued the president 22 times in over 16 weeks, more than once a week, prevailing, at least preliminarily, in most of those cases where a court independently assesses the action of the federal government and says, you're likely to succeed on the merits, California, so we're going to stop this action, at least for now. So don't understand volume for efficacy or quality. It's a lot of not well thought through, not legally supported, and not lawful actions that we're able to stop in court. Yesterday we got an important injunction on a Department of Education reduction in force. And yet another win for states pushing back. So what's appropriate, I believe, is to make a commitment to the California people, which I've made, which is that each and every time the president breaks the law and hurts California, I will sue him in court and stop him. And that's what we're doing. And we are definitely considering all of our arguments. The 10th Amendment, which you've just cited, which is our Constitution, the part of the Constitution that provides states with robust states' rights. We use that often to protect ourselves and to make sure that our 10th Amendment right is not being violated. Our approach to our civil rights as well. So we are aggressive in response, but I don't think taking on the approach of the Trump administration is necessarily wise. I think it's reckless, it's not thought through, it's unlawful much of the time. So that's not an approach that I would want to adopt. Ours is fact-based, strategic, thoughtful, based on the law, based on the facts, based on the Constitution, with compassion and love for our people, the American people, the California people, always first and foremost and top of mind. So I don't think we need to adopt his approach. I think our approach is working just fine.
Quick follow-up on Apple here. We heard today from a group that represents it. Have you been hearing anything from the company itself or other electronics manufacturers? And also, do you see a role for the state to get involved here? Seeing that this is a California company and that it is being kind of explicitly targeted, seems, by the president in this way?
We definitely will assess our potential role. We, of course, are proud of our California-born companies that are some of the greatest in the world. And we want to make sure that they continue to provide great products and great jobs and drive our economy forward. It's companies like Apple that have led us to being the 4th largest economy in the world. We're proud of that. We're proud of California companies, and we want to make sure that their rights are not violated, especially by the President of the United States, which is not something that you would normally have to protect against, you would think, but apparently we may now. So we'll, this is late breaking, as you know. This is today breaking. So we'll assess. These are words coming from Trump. We look at the action. If there is an action, at some point there's going to be an executive order or an actual tariff that is imposed, and we'll assess the authority upon which that tariff purports to rely, the scope of that tariff, how it applies, who it applies to. Is it targeted against one company, or is it more widespread than that? We have to look at the facts and then apply the law to it before we can make a final decision. But we're interested in what he said today, and we will be monitoring what he does, if he does anything, and we'll make sure that if the law is broken and we have standing to sue, we'll take appropriate action.
Thank you so much, everybody. That's all the time we have for today.
Thank you.
Rob Bonta from the Attorney General from California, who is speaking right now. All sorts of issues related to President Donald Trump, the tariffs, some of the legal action, even touching upon Alcatraz there. As you can see, different approaches from different attorney generals, but no state bigger than California, obviously, with the population there. All right, stay with us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, because it's been a busy hour with Carl. We just heard from President Donald Trump. We're watching this live shot coming out of Washington, D.C. right now. You're looking live. This is actually a live picture of right outside the White House. You see all those tents on the left? Those are all the different networks. And sometimes people will come up to this microphone and speak, and you're seeing kind of a behind-the-scenes look at what it looks like to be a member of the press here on your Friday of your Memorial Day weekend. So we're going to talk Indy 500. That's on Fox for the first time in a while. Very exciting day down there in Indy. Will the race happen on Sunday? There's possibility of some showers, so we're watching that as well. We're watching the weather.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
It is Friday. It is May 23rd. It is Memorial Day weekend. I'm Ben Handelman. Welcome to the Wisconsin Live Desk, everybody. Hope you are enjoying your Friday. If this is your first time on the Live Desk, well, welcome to what can often be the zaniest hour, or 2 hours now, that we have here during the day in the FOX6 studios, because we have no idea where this next hour will bring us. If something is happening live, you will watch it here first. We don't edit anything. You get to see news as it makes. You kind of get the gists of kind of the headlines that are created, and you get to form your own opinions without anything being edited. One of the big things we're following today is the weather. Look at this beautiful shot. That is an unbelievable view of Lake Michigan and the U.S. Bank Building and Milwaukee. And look who is joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, a friend to the program. Lisa Michaels is here on the Memorial Day weekend. And, oh, hold on. See, this is what happens on the Live Desk. Sometimes I don't hit the right button. Do I have your audio, Lisa? Let's see here. It's not on that one. Is your mic on? Your mic is on? Okay. Well, I'm not getting any audio here, Lisa, so we're going to have to see what's going on there. Maybe we should have... Oh, she's going to swap out mics. Okay, while she does that, let's look at this, because this is what she's going to be talking about. I'm no expert, but even I know that there are no clouds overhead here in Milwaukee, so that's looking pretty good. Yeah, unbelievable forecast ahead for your Memorial Day weekend. The only thing that I'm going to complain about, I would like for it to be a little bit warmer. Ooh, and Lisa, I'm hearing the microphone make noises. So that means it must be working there. And as Lisa gets her microphone ready, I want everyone to look at the numbers on your screen. You see 60, 64, 61. But look to the right, because we make them smaller, but they're not insignificant for someone like myself who lives 2 blocks from the lake. Oh, yeah, it's going to be cooler by the lake.
You got me now, Ben?
Oh, we've got you now.
There we go.
It's the Live Desk. Did I just say this is the most unpredictable couple of hours here during the day?
You did.
We learn things on the fly around here.
We do. You know, we have multiple microphones back here, and sometimes our microphones work during both shows, sometimes they don't. So we just figured out that, hey, I need to be on one mic versus the other mic.
That's
but,
okay.
Like you said, unedited.
We're smart. We figure it out. Nothing's perfect on this show. You know, we're not ironing off something very smooth. Sometimes get little wrinkles here, and that's okay.
Yeah,
all right, Lisa, here we go. I know so many people are focused on the forecast, and I really like what I'm seeing as I take this radar. We finally got the clouds out of here. We're finally getting some sunshine.
We do. And you know what, Ben? I think we can all say that we love the sun. It has been just nonstop days of clouds, of rain, of cool temperatures. And what better way to head into the holiday weekend than bringing back some sun, right?
We need it.
We
the amount of rainfall we had over that 48 hours, so impressive.
It was a lot. And actually, believe it or not, we're going to luck out here statewide, because some areas, especially near Missouri and Arkansas, they could see up to 8 inches of rain, 8 inches over the Memorial Day weekend. So, you know, we're only going to have a little more cloud cover up north, which is what we're watching now. There could be a few sparks of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder in some northern portions of Wisconsin over the upcoming days, but it really is looking to be more of that dry pattern for us. Great to get outside, at least for the state of Wisconsin, turning on the grills. And hey, we know better than anything how to grill a good Braten burger here in Wisconsin.
So true, so true. I want to show you the live look at Indianapolis 500, Lisa. Whew. I don't know if you realized that I think the bigger event is happening today. They're having the weenie races.
I know.
The Wienermobile, like multiple of them, will be racing around the track down in Indy today, and it looks like even they've got good weather for this.
Yeah, I really want to see the replay of this, because those Wienermobiles, if you haven't seen them, and I've seen them since I was a little kid, they're massive. You know, they don't accelerate as quickly as race cars do. I think.
No, not as aerodynamic when you've got that giant weenie on top.
But the big question is, which one's going to be the big wiener?
I I see what you did there.
Yeah, we want to know which Wienermobile is the big wiener out there. Yeah, you know, the track is dry today, and we have been watching in the forecast for the potential of some showers for the upcoming days leading up to the race on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday's a big question mark, isn't it?
It is. And I will say, literally just looking at the past model trends, we kind of have been holding off the rain right now until the late afternoon, even into the evening hours of Sunday for Indianapolis.
That'd be good news.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for. There's a slim chance we might have a stray shower in the morning, but again, a lot of the models have been preventing it from moving in until later on. And of course, you know, we've been talking about that people go here not only to watch the race, but they camp out for days following. So it's something we definitely want to keep dry. And of course, we know that if there's rain in the forecast, then they'd have some rain delays. Can't really drive on those tracks with no traction on the tires per se. So we are going to watch that closely, but looks pretty nice there right now in Indy.
I think I heard 350,000 people go to the Indianapolis 500. Like, just thinking of the mass of humanity that arrives, and it's the first time in a while that they've actually sold out the reserve tickets.
You're kidding. Have you been?
I have never been. It's on the bucket list.
Me too.
I'm not sure I want to go if they're sold out all the tickets to like have a seat and I'd have to go cram on the infield.
You know, I will say this though, if you're gonna go, the temperatures there on Sunday look to be in the mid to upper 60s. So might not be too bad. You might not be sweating that much since you'll have some of the cooler air in place and you can feel that cool air at least brushing up against your body. And of course, you know, Ben and I, we're tall. So the taller you are, the cooler and cleaner the air is when you're standing out there in the crowd.
I love that.
It's true.
I've never really thought about that. Yeah, all the smog that all the short people have to deal with that, you know, we don't have to deal with because we're tall.
No, we get a better view too from up here.
Yeah, I don't mind going to concerts. I'm always usually taller than the person in front of me. Let's talk about temperatures real quick over the weekend because we're not 100% getting the temperatures that we want for Memorial Day weekend.
No, we're not. In fact, really for Memorial Day weekend, we're going to be anywhere from about 5 to almost 10 degrees cooler than where we should be this time of year. But the good thing is this, you know, we've been dealing with many days of clouds, of rain, and while we are not looking to have the clouds and rain here in southern Wisconsin, we at least are going to incorporate the sunshine. And yes, the temperatures are cooler, but not bad. I mean, the 60s, I don't think we can complain too much about that. If you are near the lake, that is where we are going to still be tracking some of those cooler by the lake temperatures, 50s, upper 50s on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We could mix a couple upper 50s and low 60s out there, but overall, even though it's going to be cooler, again, the key here is dry. It is sunshine. It is not going to be extremely windy. So all good things, maybe if you're wanting to go out with the family and do some grilling, if you have any memorial services you're going to be attending, you'll have perfect weather for that. And also maybe doing some s'mores on the bonfire. I mean, it really is going to be great to get outside. A little too cool, I'd say, to take that swim in Lake Michigan or some of the lakes.
It's always too cool to take a swim in Lake Michigan.
You know what? But that's why I wish I was a kid, because when you're young, it doesn't faze you.
No, my daughter doesn't care. Last thing I want to talk about, one fun thing going on. The Brewers, they're on the road right now. They're in Pittsburgh. They will be back on Monday. Let's see if I can get one of my cameras to point at the actual stadium here. Let's see if I move it around. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
They've got the roof open right now at American Family Field. They have not opened the roof for a game yet.
Wow.
And I don't know if you realize this, Lisa. Monday is an important day at the ballpark. Do you know why?
Because it's Memorial Day. They're going to be having people attend, right?
Okay, that's one good reason. So the Brewers will be back. There will be a game. The Boston Red Sox are in town. It's Dollar Hot Dog Day at the ballpark.
Hey, can it get any better then? How many hot dogs do you think you could eat for $1?
There's a challenge that a friend did that you eat a hot dog every single inning.
Well, I maybe could do that if it's
9 hot dogs?
It depends how quickly the innings go by.
They go pretty quick, I think, nowadays. That's over like 2 hours. You got to eat 9 hot dogs?
Are we talking about including the bun and the dog?
Oh, yeah, the whole thing.
I would maybe try it once. just to see if I could do it.
I'm so impressed. Also, at the ballpark, I've got this that I can show you. First pitch. Jordan Love will be throwing out the first pitch on Dollar Dog Day.
That's going to be a lot of people are probably going to be attending just to be in his presence too. A lot cheaper to see him there than going to a Packers game.
Well, ain't that the truth, especially when you're eating dollar hot dogs. Lisa Michaels, a friend of the Wisconsin Live Desk. We appreciate you coming on, sharing your knowledge about tall people and weather.
It's always a pleasure, Ben.
Right. Lisa, we'll see you in our later newscast as well. Stay with us. Where will we go next on the Wisconsin?
Such a strong supporter of our media.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Edelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk. Hope you're enjoying your Friday as we are getting you ready for this holiday weekend. A lot of people have an extra day off on Monday. A little bit cooler temperatures here. We just heard from Lisa Michaels as she was saying, yeah, we'll be in the 60s, and even by the lake, you might be in the upper 50s because of the lake breeze and the temperatures there. So, you know, it all really depends. I just want to show you some of the live pictures we are watching right now here on the Live Desk. This is a shot live from Washington, D.C. The rain has stopped there. This is the camps of all of the networks. You see those little tents there on the left? Those are all the different networks, including Fox, that have a spot outside the White House to report on anything that's happening with our nation's government. So you see those are some media members walking around, and they always put this camera off to the side. Sometimes members of the Trump administration will walk up, they will come to the microphone, and they'll talk. So we're keeping an eye on the White House, see if that happens, if any late messages before everybody kind of takes off for this big holiday weekend. The president, of course, got his big, beautiful bill through the House. What will happen in the Senate? That is a big question, as we don't know. A lot of senators do not seem happy with the bill that went through the House. This would be the tax cut bill that the Trump administration is trying to push through, but a lot of programs would be cut with it, and so concern on that in the Senate. We'll see what happens if the senators can come up with something and get the bill signed in the near future here. Live picture from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Indianapolis 500. It is happening, and it's on Fox 6 this weekend. So this is exciting. As you're seeing, today is the day that they do all of the practices. And as me and Lisa just talked about, they're racing the Wienermobiles. I think that's a genius idea. I'm not sure how dangerous that is. One thing I'm not happy with, they've got 6 different Wienermobiles that will be racing each other, and they're supposed to represent different regions. And the Wienermobile that's representing the quote-unquote Midwest is a Chicago hot dog. and I enjoy putting ketchup on my hot dog. So I will not be rooting for the Chicago hot dog. I'm just going to say it right here. We're also watching the weather around here and the traffic. That's a live picture as we're getting ready for Brewers game back on Monday. The Brewers are in Pittsburgh right now. But, yeah, so we're watching kind of the Brew Crew coming back. They're going to have Dollar Hot Dog Day. I lost my train of thought because I was watching the roads out there. We are expecting a very busy travel weekend. A lot of people have already left for their holidays if you're heading up north or something. I will say the system here in the Milwaukee area looks pretty good. Just some usual delays in the traffic spots where there's construction. So that would be I-43, and also the Zoo interchange had a little bit of construction. But really no issues out there. I'm not seeing any big crashes. We do have our eyes on the roads. Again, this is supposed to be a very busy Memorial Day weekend on the road. Look, that's Silver Spring, US 45 out there. And you can see why they're all stopped there. That's because of the construction. So there's your typical slowdowns that are happening on the roads. So just know that, I mean, we all know where the construction has been. There's no new construction happening out there. But if you're traveling up north, up to the Northwoods, or maybe you go into Door County, or maybe you go in west, maybe you got one of those cabins up there in northwest Wisconsin. I know some people have got some of those. No issues. The only issue will be the temperature. It's a little cooler than we like around here. But, yeah, no big issues around there. So we are following what's happening all around the country and here in Wisconsin. And there is something that's just happening in Waukesha, and I'm going to bring that to you next here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Haleman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. There's some breaking news I want to get you out to in Waukesha that we are following right now. That is a picture from Brett Lemoyne on the scene at the Waukesha Oak Hill Terrace Senior Living Center. There has been a large police presence, and now we know why. This has just come in from the Waukesha Police Department saying, quote, "We are actively investigating a large-scale physical altercation that occurred on," this was actually from yesterday, Thursday, May 22nd, the Oak Hill Terrace Senior Living Center, located on Kensington Drive. Officers were dispatched about 1:30 after 911 calls reported a chaotic fight involving multiple individuals in the facility's lobby. Initial investigation revealed, excuse me here, that the incident stemmed from an earlier dispute among several employees and escalated when a group of individuals forcibly entered the premises. Surveillance footage shows witnesses confirms that account. Approximately 8 to 10 individuals were in there, including both adults and juveniles, engaged in this altercation. Several victims were assaulted, including facility employees and a juvenile. One victim sustained injuries consistent with being kicked in the head, and another had a mobile phone stolen and later found destroyed on Interstate 94. Multiple arrests. Probable cause has been established for multiple arrests, including charges of battery, disorderly conduct, and child abuse, and we are actively seeking those involved. The conduct displayed, a coordinated physical assault, which compromised the residents and staff, is not only reprehensible, but will not be tolerated in our community. So that is a picture you're looking at from Brett Lemoyne on the ground at the Waukesha Oak Hill Terrace Senior Living Facility, where there was this huge brawl in the lobby yesterday between a number of individuals that all started with a fight between staff members, and many staff members have been assaulted. And right now on this Friday, as Waukesha police are looking to start their weekend, they are now on a manhunt for some of the individuals involved in this huge fight out there in Waukesha at this facility. Obviously, there's concerns over the individuals that the employees are supposed to be taking care of at their senior facility, and instead, they're having a brawl in the lobby. So huge, huge fight there in Waukesha, and we're keeping our eyes on if any of these arrests have been made. So we'll keep following that here on the live desk as we continue to follow the weather. As roof's open right now, go figure, the team's out of town. Brewers are in Pittsburgh right now. They will be back on Memorial Day on Monday. Indianapolis 500, that is a live picture. You're seeing some of the practices have occurred, and the fans are checking out the pit row right there as there are people wandering around. What will be a very busy weekend come Sunday, race day. 350,000 people expected to attend the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we've got our eyes on that. You never know when something will pop here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. So any moment now, a new feed could come in. What will happen next? We shall find out. You're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk here on
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the most unpredictable couple of hours during the day, the Wisconsin Live Desk. We call it WILD, W-I-L-D, Wisconsin Live Desk. You get it? And if you are joining us here, that means you're a news nerd, so we appreciate people just like you. Hey, I've been watching a new shot here that just came in. That is the stock market not having a good day. This after the president, Donald Trump, threatening new tariffs against the EU and Apple. Those were in comments he made today, and that is not being treated well by the stock market, which has not yet taken a holiday. A lot of people would like the stock market to take a holiday, seeing about 0.25% of the Dow disappearing on this day. Stock market's really been kind of wild, up and down, depending on the day, so really hanging on the words of the president during this economic uncertainty. Something else that just swapped in, new information coming up from the city of Milwaukee, and this is coming straight from City Hall, which you see there on the right. That's my right. Okay, yes, there's City Hall. And that's what we've got. A new Memorial Day holiday schedule has just come out. Sounds like someone hit the send button right before they hit vacation, probably over there at City Hall. All right, I'm just going to run through this because the city of Milwaukee, they want people to know that offices will be closed on Monday, May 26th for Memorial Day, so don't try and bother people from the city government. They're going to be grilling and barbecuing just like you. So here is the schedule because there are changes because of what's happening with the holiday. Let's start with garbage, recycling, and drop-off centers. There will be no garbage and recycling pickup on Monday, May 26th in Milwaukee. Just a reminder out there for everyone, collection days shift forward each day after a city holiday. So they've got a link if you don't know when your trash will be picked up next. If your pickup day is on Monday, so that would shift forward to Tuesday. But if you got questions, collection schedule, you can find it online. The drop-off center, if you're like, ooh, this would be a good weekend to get rid of everything, just know that that'll be closed on Monday. So you can't head down to the drop-off center and dump a bunch of stuff down there. All right, here's something exciting. Parking enforcement. Maybe you want to do something downtown. Well, guess what? There will be no parking, meter or hourly parking enforcement on Monday, May 26th. That's a freebie day. So you want to go and do something on Monday, don't feed the meters. Do not do it. We're saving you money here on the Wisconsin Live Desk because no one is going to be there to check it and give you a ticket. So you're good. No overnight parking enforcement on Sunday into Monday morning. So, hey, you want to go visit your friends down on Sunday and have some fun, maybe spend the night, you can leave your car and not have to call it in or anything. You're good. That'll be from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., the overnight parking that they normally enforce. They're not going to do it. Monday night into Tuesday morning, no overnight parking enforcement either. So you want to leave your car out Monday after a long barbecue. Just make sure you move it on Tuesday before the enforcement starts again. Night parking enforcement, it does resume on Tuesday night into Wednesday. So you got 2 free nights courtesy from the city of Milwaukee. Let's talk tow lot. Hopefully you don't get your car towed on like Friday or Saturday night. It's going to be closed on Monday, so you won't be able to get your car out. So good idea to not get your car towed by the city this weekend. There is a note also here from Milwaukee Waterworks. They're closed on Monday, their offices. They cannot do any in-person or live assistance if you're having water issues. An automated account information bill payment, that is still available because it's automated. There's no humans there. So that's the normal number. You got to pay your water bill. You want to do it on Monday because you're sitting on the couch. You can do that. So that's all the updates coming out of City Hall as they are ready for the, obviously, what's going on with the holiday weekend. Beautiful shots from around the city today. That's our downtown camera. Here's the Modern camera on top of one of the tallest apartment buildings here. We're just seeing blue skies for the first time. We had all that rain that came through, and we just talked to Lisa Michaels not too long ago. But look at the clouds. They're staying to the north right now. It's supposed to be a very beautiful weekend. Lots of sunshine. The only problem will be our temperatures, especially if you live close to Lake Michigan. It's a little bit cooler by a few degrees. Take the high temperature, take a couple ticks off. It won't be anything drastic, but I mean, we might be in the upper 50s on your Saturday, right along Lake Michigan, close to the 60 inland. So a little bit cool out there, but it should be sunny and beautiful. So you can still get out on the boat. Just bring a sweatshirt. You'll be fine. And then invite me on a boat, because nobody ever seems to ever invite me onto the boats. Okay, we're still watching all these feeds here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Live picture from Washington, D.C. Looks like the media. There is news coming out of Washington, D.C. today. The president did just had a press conference. But overall, a very low-key day in the nation's capital. Not so low-key down in Indianapolis, where they're expecting hundreds of thousands of people to attend the Indy 500 this weekend. They got the practices today. We got the race on Sunday right here on Fox 6 or your Fox affiliate, wherever you may be, so that's exciting. So that is what's going on down there in Indianapolis. So we got this really cool shot. What will happen next here on the Live Desk? We never know for sure. It's really unclear. But I will tell you, I got some new information on the tornadoes that happened last week, and we'll talk about it next here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Haleman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. Hope you are enjoying. I have some good plans for this holiday weekend coming up. Memorial Day, of course, is on Monday, and we're watching different live feeds from all around the country, and that's the joy of what we have created here at Fox 6. From this room, I have the power to take feeds from all over Wisconsin, the Midwest, and the nation, and really beyond. And in the Midwest, this is the big story this weekend, is the Indy 500. It's going to be going on Sunday, so we'll keep watching this shot, which has been a lot of fun today. Not so fun as your 401k. I've been watching what's happening with the Dow today. They do not like news that the president is threatening more tariffs on the EU and Apple. And just a moment ago, I was down 0.25%. We're getting closer to 0.5%. As we get closer, everyone was hoping that stockbrokers would kind of take a vacation and just relax on your 401k today instead of it going up and down and up and down and up and down. Well, it didn't really happen. They're still working because that number keeps moving. And as we get closer to the closing bell here on your Friday afternoon, it's moving in the wrong direction. I want to talk about your weather quickly, okay? Because right out there, we have no issues. Live picture now, that is from the radar. You could see up in the UP, over in Michigan, there's some rain coming down, but no issues around here, which is good because we've dealt with it for so long. But yeah, we've got no issues this weekend with rain at all. Actually, there's your weekend forecast from Lisa Michaels and the Fox 6 weather experts. 60s and sunny. And that chance of rain on Monday that we were talking about earlier in the week, we've pushed that till Tuesday and Wednesday later in the week. So the whole weekend should be dry. The issue will be the temperatures out there. 60s, possibly upper 50s tomorrow if you live right along the lake. And I do live right along the lake. So that could be an issue. One thing I do want to talk about, all this new information we got from the National Weather Service about our tornadoes. This was the storms that hit last week, especially in Dodge County. I mean, the storms hit everywhere. They've been cleaning up damage, especially Racine County right along the lake. They had some straight line wind damage, but the tornadic activity, 8 total tornadoes. There were 15 tornadoes in total all across the state of Wisconsin, and you can see 8 of them are on your screen right there from Portage and Dodge County, Columbia County. Most of the tornadoes were in Dodge County. As you can see, the strongest ones, the EF2 in Mayville, Juneau. EF1s, there was one north of Juneau, Lomira, Lowell, and that EF1 tornado that was just north of Theresa. Then the EF0, that was in Rock Springs, and I had never heard of this. I just learned a new fact this week. What is an EFU tornado that happened in Portage? Well, according to the Fox 6 weather experts, there was visual evidence of a tornado that looked like a tornado had dropped down from the sky. The radar indicated some rotation. The National Weather Service says when they went out there, they couldn't find any damage. So they're calling it an EFU for an unconfirmed tornado. Thought that was a pretty neat little fact there, that you can have an EFU. Never heard about that. All right, so we're still watching everything that's happening here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Stay with us a couple more minutes. Don't go anywhere. Maybe something will pop in the next couple of minutes here. You're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk from Fox 6.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben gentlemen here from the Wisconsin Live Desk. We're in the last closing minutes here of our hour. Got to say, it was a little quiet on the Live Desk today, but that's okay because there's still things happening. Look at this beautiful shot. This is new from our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., as you're seeing us live here on the Live Desk. Still watching the stock market, and, I got to stop taking the shot because every time I take this shot, the Dow's down a little bit more. Was at 0.4% the last time we talked about this. Now we've lost 0.5% on the Dow as stockbrokers do not like the news that President Trump is threatening more tariffs on the EU and Apple in some of his comments today. And because of that, the Dow quickly shot down 200 points. So not a great day for the Dow heading into the holiday weekend, but we all deserve a little bit of a break. They'll take Monday off. So your 401k will get a little bit of a break. It's really been up or down. We're watching Indianapolis. Okay, I got some new numbers just in from Fox that IndyCar, this is a big year for IndyCar, that it's on Fox. They have moved to our network, and all 17 IndyCar races will be on Fox this year. That includes Road America. That includes the Milwaukee Mile. So we, obviously, we're fans of IndyCar here in Wisconsin with these great races, but already IndyCar up 25% in viewership so far this year on Fox. So the numbers are great. It's a huge race this weekend, as we're expecting 350,000 people to show up and hang out and party all along this track down in Indianapolis. It's on my bucket list to go to the event. Never been. So I'm going to try and do that. Okay, look at it. They're showing video of on the big screen of people like, you got to kiss the bricks, right? Once you win, that's what everybody does. They sit down and they kiss some cement blocks. So who will that be? Will it be Alex Palou, who won the race? We sent Donovan down to Indianapolis last weekend for the Sun CEO 500. Was that 2 weekends ago now? Anyway, that's who won that race, and he'll be there with all the stars. So anyway, that's the latest here on the Live Desk. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay here on Fox Local.